would like to share my journey. That is almost a decade of experience that I've got, but the ride was not an easy. It was like a very roller coaster ride.
Now, for the audience, if you can tell us the entire life cycle
Okay.
of the transaction that you were doing in commodity. And you moved from the trading side
Yes.
to consulting business. So first of all, why that decision came in?
The decision was not that easy. Eventually, I was working for a graveyard night shift for 4 years.
But if somebody wants to change,
Yes.
say wants to go from industry to consulting,
Yes.
what top 3 things we should keep in mind?
Top 3 things from my current experience, I would like to say your Excel should be very fantastic. You should have a very good hold on your Excel. Consulting is basically a storytelling business. You have to be very good with your articulation, how you're trying to present your thought.
What are the top skills you need into the core commodity side?
Into the core commodity set, you should be on your toes all the time.
Now, in your role, do you need tools like Power BI, Tableau?
Not specifically, but into my current role, I would say Excel is a very non-negotiable skill which you need to carry.
But is commodity as a career risky for freshers?
For a fresher, I would like to say with my past experience,
Hello guys, hi, this is Ganesh Nayak. I help finance professionals and students to excel in their career and become a better version of themselves. And I also help students preparing for competitive exams in finance like CFA, FRM and SCR. And as a part of that journey, we also bring out podcasts of people from the industry trying to understand what are the different roles that are available in the industry, what skills are needed, and how we can make a career in finance. Now, with that thought process, I'm with Prashant, Mr.Prashant Dongre, and he's basically managing transaction and strategy, okay, into the energy and commodity space. And he has a decade of experience into the industry where he has seen trading desk, he has seen market risk, and now he is into consulting. So we're going to be talking about his overall experience, his journey, and what you can learn today from him. So Prashant, first of all, thank you very much for taking out time and talking to us. For the audience, if you can give a brief about your overall journey.
okay. Thank you, sir, for having me on this podcast. Would like to share my journey. That is almost a decade of experience that I've got, but the ride was not an easy. It was like a very roller coaster ride. Eventually, when I started my career, I started with the tech finance.
Okay.
That was like a finance associate role. Then I landed into investment banking career. Then from investment banking, I landed into commodity trading. And right now, at the moment, I'm into consulting. I started my career in the year 2015. That was as a finance associate role where I was working for one of the tech firm where we used to do the reconciliation for their revenue analysis, contract reading we used to do. And parallelly, I was opting for my MBA from Wellington Institute, and I was also doing one of the certification from Immaticus, that is a certified investment banking operational professional. So because of that certification, I got an opportunity working with 3 investment bank, that is Nomura, Morgan Stanley and JP Morgan. With Nomura, I was a part of regulatory division where we used to report trades on a daily basis to the regulator for the different asset classes. So that was one of my experience. I was working for them on a contractual role. Basis of that experience, I got moved into Morgan Stanley for the next 6 months. I was working with them on a NY desk, that is for the cash and equity business. We used to do the reconciliation versus the broker reconciliation versus the position which they're having on the daily basis. We used to do the reconciliation and we used to report their position to the broker as well. Then later, I got an opportunity working for JP Morgan. Within JP Morgan, I was a part of fixed income division. I was directly working with the London desk where we were trying to set up the commodity regulatory business.
Okay.
So basis of that experience, I cracked into Trafigura where I've spent almost 4 years working with them. And the Trafigura experience was like a very fantastic where I've spent almost my 4 years where you get to learn the real supply and demand business of commodities.
Okay.
How does one of the commodity structure flows? How does geographical economic plays a key role, pivotal role in managing your price risk? From that, I moved on to consulting. At the moment, I'm working with consulting. I was a part of Deloitte, where I was a part of a regulatory and legal division, where I've supported many clients, $1 billion clients, where I was supporting for their internal control testing as a second line of defense.
Okay.
I have done a research work over there. At the moment, I'm working with EVA as an associate manager, where my roles and responsibility basically is where I'm supporting a Singapore desk, where there are several clients, they want to optimize their trading desk. They want to benchmark the particular business on that particular region if they want to set up the business. So we do the benchmarking banking, we try to optimize the trading desk.
So initially it was contractual rules into investment banking.
Yes.
Then you moved into energy and commodity space, and that entire space you are still now. You started with Trafigura and still with the same.
So eventually I started, the turning point of my career would be like I went from a contractual role to a full-time role working with Trafigura.
Okay.
So I started with investment banking, that 3 investment banking on a contractual role, and one fine day I got a call from Trafigura. So it was like a full-time role. I thought to give a shot, and eventually I spent almost 4 years working with them for the commodity trading desk. It is like a very different experience it was while working with them versus the investment bank.
For the audience, how commodity is different than investment banking?
The structure is almost similar. The trade life cycle is almost same. Within investment banking, I would like to say there is a front office, middle office, and back end. Within commodities as well, there is a front end, middle and back end. But the key differentiator is there. Within the investment bank, once the trades have been punched, we do the affirmation and confirmation. But within the commodities, it is totally different. There is a trade finance, there is a due diligence, compliance check, because the business is a very heavy business in terms of capex size.
Okay.
When they do the trading, so they have to do a very contract due diligence, counterparty due diligence, whether they want to onboard or not. And once they are been onboarded, then there is a lot of trading happens on a daily basis.
Overall, while before the podcast we were talking that in, say for example, in Trafigura in your role, you should do end to end everything.
Yes, end to end.
And in investment bank, you're just doing a part of it.
Yes.
Correct? So what is happening?
For example, for one of the client, for one of the investment banking division, I was a part of a cash and equity business.
Okay.
So whatever trading the traders are doing on the daily basis, we used to do the reconciliation, the front end versus the middle office, whatever the books they are having. So we used to do the reconciliation. Okay. But when we talk about commodity trading, it is totally different. It is like a one-stop shop an individual is handling, from trade capture to trade execution, from looking after the P&L, looking after the market driver until the settlement takes place.
Now for the audience, if you can tell us the entire life cycle of the transaction that you were doing in commodity.
For example, you are a trader and I'm working as a front office assistant for you. So I'll be playing a role of a front end as well as for the middle office. As a front end, you will shoot me an email on a daily basis. So these are the particular trades. So what I'll do, I'll try to punch that particular trade into the internal system. Once the trade get into the internal system, that trade replication would go across a contract division. Same trades would get across the contract division. The contract would try to do the reconciliation between the counterparty contract versus the internal trades which have failed, whether the deal economics are matching or not. Once the deal economics are matching, the contract would get generated, then it would hit on the floor. If it is not getting matched, then we'll have to do the amendments based on the requirements, whatever the requirements are there. Once the trade gets on the floor, that's the trades flow into the system, middle office system.
Okay.
So where the real game starts, doing mark to market calculation, looking after the P&L, how you would hedge that particular trade, looking after the market scenario. At end of the day, you will have to run the report, how many trades are being carried on a one particular day, how does the position look like, and you will have to see the current market drivers which is impacting P&L, how your month end would roll for the next position, everything.
And you moved from the trading side
to
consulting business. So first of all, why that decision came in?
The decision was not that easy. Eventually it was like I was working for a graveyard night shift for 4 years. So I was looking out for a day, but apparently I got a call from one of the consulting. So I thought to give a shot, and that too, it was into a commodity role itself. My base was not getting changed.
Okay.
So it was like where I'm working on the prop desk, it would be like I'm giving consulting to another firm.
But if somebody wants to change, say wants to go from industry to consulting, what top 3 things he should keep in mind?
Top 3 things from my current experience, I would like to say, your Excel should be very fantastic. You should have a very good hold on your Excel. Your skills in terms of stakeholder management, how you articulate your thought process. Consulting is basically a storytelling business. You have to be very good with your articulation, how you're trying to present your thought, or how you're trying to present one of the keys to your engagement manager, how you can try to solve the problem solving thing. Basically, Excel, how you're managing a relationship with your stakeholder, and problem solving skills.
Perfect. You also have moved from a temporary roles or contractual roles to the permanent side. Again, same question. Suppose a lot of our audience who is doing sitting into a contractual role, if they want to move, what top 3 or 5 things they should do or they should keep in mind? Okay, at my time when I was working on the contractual role, at that point of time, it was like a very boom into investment banking where people are getting hired on the contractual role. So I was lucky enough, I was working for the contractual role. But the top skill I would like to say, your base should be very strong in terms of financial literacy, the product knowledge, derivatives knowledge. And later, once you are into a contractual role, you should be very good with the trade knowledge. How does investment banking works? when we talk about the commodity business,
Yes.
what are the top skills you need into the core commodity side?
Into the core commodity set, you should be on your toes all the time, because
Okay.
the position which you're carrying on a daily basis would fluctuate. You are responsible to communicate with your trader on a daily basis. What are the market condition? What are the market driver? What exactly the geopolitical and economics are playing for that particular product? You should be aware on a daily basis. Basically, you have to keep a tap on market. You have to be on your toes. It is like a very go business. Every time you have to be on your toes. Trader would give you a call any time of the day. How does my PNL look like?
This is also applicable to the middle office roles in commodity.
Yeah, middle office. Those who are specifically into handling books, they are looking after P&L business. Anytime your trader would give you a call and ask you for the particular P&L, how does my P&L look? Do I need to make certain changes? Do I need to carry position? Do I need to hedge it? What's my MTM look like?
Okay.
Everything.
Now, in your role, do you need tools like Power BI, Tableau?
Not specifically, but into my current role, I would say Excel is a very non-negotiable skill which you need to carry. But when you talk about Power BI and Tableau, that would be like a problem-solving tool which you need, that specifically for the cons role and the trading side.
You talked about supporting the trader, right?
Yes.
So, like a deals desk, how can somebody break into those roles?
From my past experience, because of my investment banking experience working for the cash and equity business and for the fixed income division for the commodities, that helped me getting into the Trafigura into commodities role. That was like a very primary base for me. At that point of time, I was working as a trade support. I was working for the middle office trade support role, so that was like a go for me.
And does the role in commodity, be it consulting, be it trading, is it very hectic?
Not exactly hectic, I would say, but it is all the time you have to be very sharp with your numbers when you're working into commodity trading business. And while consulting, it is totally different, where your day would be different every day. You're doing X activity today, it won't be like you're doing the same activity tomorrow. It would be like a Y. Your expectation, your theme on a daily basis get changed.
But is commodity as a career risky for freshers?
For a fresher, I would like to say, with my past experience for Trafigura, it is like a very good. They have a rotational program called as a graduate rotational program, where they get to learn the 3 different scale of the business, from front end to trading operations, trade finance role. They get a blend of mixture. So one of the graduates who are looking for that would be very helpful for them.
And you have changed a lot of roles. When should somebody switch role?
Okay.
Or what should be the trigger point, or how should they plan?
The trigger point would be when your learning curve has been stopped and things are looking very easy for you.
Okay.
And there is nothing that you can go beyond that. When things are getting very harder, that is not a changing point, because that experience would make you more stronger for your further roles.
Now, if somebody is confused between, say, trading, risk, or consulting,
Yes.
what is your guidance to that person, how he should choose?
I'll start with trading first. Trading is something like trader is trying to optimize the short-term trading strategies or long-term trading strategies through PNL. Trading and risk go hand in hand. Trading goes into front end. Risk goes into middle office.
Correct.
Okay, so that goes into hand in hand. While talking about consulting, where consulting comes into place, where you're trying to optimize your short-term problem solving into long-term strategies. So basic difference is like where trading comes into short-term optimizing your PNL, and consulting comes into optimizing your future strategies.
Now, whatever decisions you are taking on a day-to-day basis, how does it impact PNL?
It is basically, you will have to keep a tap on market. What are the key drivers, market drivers, current scenarios going on? On the basis of that, it tries to influence your PNL. So you have to be very well versed with the market condition as well.
Working in commodity, what is the most underrated part?
I would like to say that you have to be on your toes all the time.
How tech is reshaping the commodity business?
Basically, AI driven is a major game changing player for commodities business, in terms of AI is helping in terms of shaping the supply demand models at the moment. Even AI is helping for the decarbonization business for commodities.
And what are the top skills that you feel will be there for the next decade?
For the next decade, the top skill would be, at the moment, looking at the current market scenario where each and every firm is trying to meet their net zero target. So there is one ESG skill.
Okay.
Risk management is never going to disappear from the market. The risk management skills are also is one of the topmost skills I would suggest.
Wonderful. I mean, now we'll have the final section with respect to the rapid fire. So you have to answer very fast. Most underrated finance myth?
That you have to be very good with crunching the numbers.
One habit every analyst needs?
That you should be very much sure about the assumption which you're carrying in terms of working.
Assumption. Okay. skill students ignores the most?
Communication with the right people at the right time.
What actually gets you hired?
Basically, your mindset and your body language, how you're trying to interpret your thought process while communicating with the interviewer.
Best advice for freshers?
Don't try to jump very quickly. Try to optimize your skill set rather than optimizing your salary.
One mistake to avoid early.
Don't jump too quickly.
So, I mean, this conversation is going to be really helpful because your experience in the industry, especially the commodity side, we have not done anything specific in the past.
Okay.
Any podcast which focuses on this. So your podcast would enlighten that section of the audience who wish to enter into this space also.
Yes.
And from your experience, like you've moved companies, so obviously all this conversation would really help. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
For taking out time.